Talk to me about the big, beautiful bill that went through the Congress, and of course there's lots of elements in it, but it's also precipitated the departure of one very big figure in the administration.
Yes, Elon Musk. His time was coming to a natural end anyway because he had this special deal that necessitated him leaving at 130 days or so. But he did make some cutting remarks about how the cuts don't go deep enough, which is true. What it does do is on the revenue side, in terms of tax cuts for Americans, it went pretty far. It allows Trump to keep the tax cuts that he did in 2017 that are due to expire. He's added more on. He's increasing taxes on university endowments and other things like that. More deregulation and business friendliness, and all that's good, but it doesn't cut deeply enough, and it factors in tariff revenue, which is a wild card. We don't know how that story is going to end. If not, it's going to add $4 trillion to the $36 trillion deficit, and that's what Musk and other fiscal hawks are taking issue with. But spending cuts has never been Trump's main thing. He's getting what he wants in terms of tax cuts, provisions for the wall, and things like that, and I think he's taking what he thinks he can get and kicking the can down the road on spending.
And he'll be able to demonstrate to the electorate that voted for him, I said I would do all of these things, and they are in what is a significant omnibus bill.
That's right, and he's doing it. He's also a pragmatist, so all these things are about horse trading, and it already passed by a very narrow margin, so he's taking what he can get.
When China, Michael, went after Australia a while back and had a whole list of demands, all these things that we needed to do to get back in their good books, one of them was to scrap a body, a policy defence think tank called ASPI. It's run out of Canberra. It's been supported bipartisan for many, many years. It looks to me that the Prime Minister might be swayed here by Beijing. Have a listen to these comments.
Well, that's what they do, isn't it, ASPI? I mean, seriously, they need to, I think, have a look at themselves as well and the way that they conduct themselves in debates. We've had a defence strategic review. We've got considerable additional investment going into defence.
Now, what prompted that was the latest cost of defence report from ASPI that says we've been left with a hollowed-out Defence Department by the Albanese government. But the targeting of ASPI, that makes me very nervous.
It's been, I'm with Kim Beazley and John Howard in setting this up. I'm with the bipartisan view on national security. We have one less squadron of F-35s. We have 3 of the 4 mechanised battalions in the ADF abolished. They've hollowed out the Defence Forces in order to pay for the submarines in the future. And if people are not allowed to say that, that is censorship, and it's a mark of the total failure of the ALP right in the National Caucus to point this out. Of course, the Prime Minister and the Socialist left want to quieten their critics. That's what they've always done. In fact, they set up this inquiry into ASPI, which had a predetermined yes minister kind of result. It's a hit job. They want to quieten their critics, and ASPI was serious, solid information, particularly on China.
And I'll make the point too, you know, defence bureaucrats will be there for 20 or 30 years throughout their career, and if they are uniformed when they retire from the military, they often come back as lobbyists and consultants. The minister's there, if you're lucky, for 4 or 5 years, and so you need an external party to hold the bureaucrats, quite frankly, to account, which is what ASPI does. And I think this is part of the agenda, not just of the government, but the bureaucrats, to avoid scrutiny.
Well, this is why I'm glad Michael Shoebridge and Peter Jennings have got out into a separate organisation, because at least their voices can't be stifled.
Oh, you mean so if ASPI's blown up, they'll still live on to be
to fight another day, like
analysts.
General Marion from the Swamp Fox days in America.
Hey, what's going on with this Harvard contagion, Donald Trump and international student visas, that looks like it's spreading across other institutions?
So this is a continuation of a fight that this administration has picked with the university sector. Tactically, they're alleging that they haven't been forthcoming with requests about information of academic misconduct or other types of misconduct conducted by international students, and with respect to those protests, or even otherwise sharing video footage from it and other documentation.
About the anti-Semitism.
Yes, and beyond that, as well, just any international student who's misbehaving, they're saying we are entitled to that information, and Harvard is allegedly slow walking that. But the real reason for it is taking the fight to the sector, which is that ultimately it is an American institution. It is not a global entitlement, though we do have sympathy for international hardworking students who, you know, are excited to go there and now may not be able to, depending on how this ends up. But they get a lot of benefits from the American taxpayer, direct funds, tax-exempt status of a very rich endowment fund. They're not particularly friendly to the administration, and he's not afraid to fight dirty, I think, in a way that people don't before, and that's what this is about.
Interesting. Leave it there. Thank you very much.